You're listening to Double Time, your daily accessible technology show. Now, here's your hosts, Steven Scott and Shaun Preece.
Oh, hello, Shaun Preece. How are you today?
I am loving the return of the try-hellos, by the way. Hola, I am very well. How are you?
Hola to you too. Yes, I'm back. My sunglasses are back on. It's too bright in here, or too dark in here, actually. So now it's too bright for me, but great for anyone who wants to watch us on YouTube. So the sunglasses are back. Hey.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you changed that studio like a haircut.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It is.
What? So it was too dark without the lights.
So we tried some different things to try and bring the overall lighting down.
Yes.
Because the light was just, really intense. And, wearing the sunglasses for a prolonged period of time, I don't know. I'm a very fussy individual.
You are very fussy. Look, your sunglasses are your thing. All right?
So you think
We've
I should
all
just
got
wear
our
them?
shtick. Yeah, just wear them. Own it. It's fine. Maybe we can get sponsorship. Yes. Look, you got to be comfortable when you're doing this sort of work, right? So it's fine. No one cares.
Anyway, how are you?
I'm upset. I'm not good, Steven Scott. I've had a bit of a mare, I believe it's called over here in the UK. Bit of a mare. A couple of days ago, I was walking the dog, as is my wont. It's another walking the dog story, and I suddenly felt a little click. And then I heard a ball roll away from me very, very quickly. And realised, the rollerboard falling off the end of my stick.
Did you let the dog off the lead and just see if perhaps
he could find it
for you? Because that's what dogs do.
Well, no, because he's now become so accustomed to the cane that he doesn't bother with it at all anymore. So that wouldn't have worked. It was gone. So I spent the last 2 days trying to order a cane. Can I just say, impossible. Ridiculous. What happens if you break a cane and that's the only cane you've got? I'll tell you what happens. You can't go anywhere.
No.
I've realised how much the cane is part of me. It is part of my body, Steven Scott. Without my cane, I can't move. It's so strange.
And you're saying this just after White Cane Awareness Day. So perfect timing, actually,
you know how
for you to
aware
break your cane. You're so aware of it. You're so aware of it. You spend the whole day trying to buy a new one.
And on that, can I say this as well? And this is a bit UK specific, so I apologise up front. But I am so frustrated with the RNIB online shop. How bad is that? It's impossible to... No, I shouldn't say impossible. It's so frustrating to navigate. I could not do it at all. I rang them up trying to order a cane. I want one as soon as possible, obviously. Mm-hmm. Well, can I pay by PayPal or Apple Pay or whatever? No. Do you know your card details? No, I don't. Of course not. I haven't memorized them. Well, then that's that. It just feels like it all needs dragging into the 21st century. I've got to say, the online shop was just... I was so surprised. First time I've used it.
I must admit, on the front, well, I will say this though. I am getting to the point where I'm starting to do things like, getting my, and you got to be careful with this obviously, but when you're taking your card details down, putting them onto either a notepad document or a text edit or something and trying to put that into a secure location on your computer so that you can pull up that information if you need it. Because I'm like you, someone says to me, what's your card number? I've got no idea. I can't remember all these numbers. There was a time I think I could have, but...
I was just going to say that. I used to have it memorized easily. But how often do you have to say your card number nowadays? Never.
No, exactly. But it is getting more challenging. Look, it's the challenge of online shopping, overall. But you would think a shop like that would be more accessible to you. So did you try online or did you call? You say you called them.
I called them first, and then they said, well, we need your card details. Now, that's not actually true. You can also, they can invoice you, send you an invoice, email or post.
Oh, I thought you were suggesting you just get it for free because you're Shaun Preece.
Well, I'm blind. I should get it for free.
I'm blind.
Obviously.
I want to do nothing. Dare you
and
charge me money?
you can do a bank transfer or something like that once you get. But obviously, I want this as soon as possible. I'm going to see Alice Cooper tomorrow in concert. I need a cane. So
she's a lovely lady. Is that Jilly's sister?
Thank you very much. What was I saying? Yeah, so I rang them trying to get it as soon as possible. And they said, you need your card details. I said, well, if I do it online, there must be like an online option to pay somehow. As I mentioned, PayPal or Apple Pay or something. So I thought, it's fine, I'll go online. So I went online and I tried. Just navigating around was really poor. I tried it on the smartphone. I tried it on the computer. Trying to find the search. I typed in Ambutech into the search. Sorry, no results found. It was just, it was not a great experience. And I was really shocked by it. So I just gave up and rang them back. And eventually I got it done. Ambutech, graphite, 150 centimeter rollerball. And, but again, yeah, we say up to 14 days. So I will pay for next day delivery if you got that option.
That's not good. This is Lifeline stuff, right? I mean, you can't get out the door without this thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I was quite shocked. Now, look, they were so nice when I was talking to the people on the phone. So, I don't want to diss it too much. But at the end of the day, people need this stuff. They need it quick. I did go onto Amazon. I was looking on there, but wow, there's a lot of keywords in there that I just didn't quite understand what I was buying. So I gave up on that.
Well, I think whatever you buy, if you can afford to, buy 2 of them. That would be my recommendation, because then at least you know what you're buying. But there really should be. I mean, for something like this, I mean, we're not talking about, it's one thing saying buying a talking watch, which, yes, of course you can wait a few weeks for if you had to. But
yeah, that's right.
Although it does seem a little bit out of date these days. We've been spoiled so much by Amazon. If I buy from any online store and it says it'll be with you in a few days, I'm like, what? What is this? Yeah. Is this 1983? What is going on?
Yeah, no, you're right. We have been spoiled, but at the same time, I think there's something like a mobility cane, a long cane, is an essential. I think there should be an option to get that next day delivery.
Yeah,
that doesn't seem too much to ask, especially if I'm willing to pay for it.
But I think you pick up on something else, though. I think with all these companies, when I go to any organization that sells canes, white canes or long canes, I'm very confused about what is actually on sale. I don't understand. I'm like, I want the lightest cane I can get, and I hear carbon fiber, I hear graphite, I hear aluminium. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not an expert on anything. So I don't know what is the best one, and I'm not just going to take a punt on the basis of, possibly it might. Yeah, exactly. One of those paper mache ones, that would be perfect. Styrofoam.
Do you know what I said? My exact words were, the cheapest rollerball cane you've got. And what they actually did was go through my purchase history. So must have ordered over the phone before. And it came back with the Ambutech graphite cane. Now, there is a cheaper one. The aluminium one is cheaper, but they said, it's a lot heavier.
Okay, so the aluminium was a heavy one, yeah, because I think that's the one I've got.
There was like $15 difference in it.
Yeah.
So I just said, just give me the one I've had before. So
okay. Well, this is all very well and good, but have you finished complaining?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes, I have.
Let's get into it. Let's carry on.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
We've got a lot of breaking news today, actually. Lots to talk about. We're going to be chatting with Mike Buckley from Be My Eyes, and Nicole Bergstom is joining us from Hilton Hotels a little bit later to talk all about an amazing announcement. And it is an amazing announcement, actually.
It is.
All around the accessibility of Hilton Hotels and the fact that they're now working with Be My Eyes. We're going to be bringing you that story. You had a chance to catch up with Nicole and Mike, so we're going to hear that interview a little bit later. Also, brand new iPad mini, but that's not the reason for me pressing the breaking news button today.
No.
I'm going to press another button. Let's see if this works.
Double Tap is now on WhatsApp.
Yay!
Yep, we finally did it. Send an audio or video message to 613-481-0144 or visit doubletaponair.com/WhatsApp.
There you go, done. So moving on.
That's a very easy number to remember, Steven Scott.
Did you catch that? Did you catch that?
I did.
I think you and I went through this about 17 times before we started the show, trying to get this number into our heads. I've even got it here. It's so funny because on the Mac, whenever you hit the left arrow key at the beginning of a line, it reads the entire line to you, which in this case, it says 6,144,000,000,000.
Hate that.
So yeah, it's absolute nonsense. But let me read this number again to you. This is the new number you want to get into your phone because this is our WhatsApp number. So if you want to contact us, send a voice message or a video message to us via WhatsApp, you can now do it. Now there are 2 ways. One is the number, which is 613. Oh, I can't believe it's gone to the end of the line. Right, 613 4810144. Okay.
You read that beautifully, Steven Scott.
I read it
so natural.
So, not in any way repeating the voice in my head. So 613-481-0144. We will get used to it, I'm sure.
Yes.
But that is the number that we want to be saying. Well, we do it one more time so I can get it in my head. Hang on. Did I say 631?
Let me do it.
You do it.
You got to do it as a song. That's the secret to all numbers. 613-481-0144. Thank you. 613-481-0144.
Okay, I think I've got that in my head. Or you can go to doubletaponair.com/WhatsApp and that will take you right into the chat. So, yeah, absolutely. So,
how did you do that?
I have no magic. I absolutely had nothing to do with it. I promise you. People who are smarter than me got involved in this and got it all set up. So it's working really nicely. You can go to doubletaponair.com/WhatsApp or that number, Shaun, which is
613-481-0144. Probably, unless I've got that wrong. Should we play the jingle just one more time?
I think we should.
Rob?
Double Tap is now on WhatsApp. Yep, we finally did it. Send an audio or video message to 613-481-0144 or visit doubletaponair.com/WhatsApp.
So there you go. We have finally done it. We are now on WhatsApp. You can still get in touch in all the other ways as well. You can still email us at feedback@doubletaponair.com and you can call the other number, which I'm now struggling with because I've been trying to remember this number, 1-877-803-4567. Goodness me, it's a lot to remember in this program.
Forget it.
This is where Braille is really useful, I think. This is where Braille is handy, right?
Yes.
Look, I want to mention as well, of course, it was White Cane Awareness Day yesterday. It was also an opportunity for hundreds of blind people to go out and protest against Uber and Lyft in the States. There have been a lot of stories, and this is indeed a global problem, of blind people being refused access to taxis, especially those blind people with guide dogs. Not exclusively. I have to say, I've had many refusal myself, and I know you have as well. And we don't have guide dogs.
Many mysterious, your ride has been cancelled as soon as they turn up.
Well, that's the thing, is you hear the car approaching or you get the notification on the Uber app saying it's turning up and then the car just disappears.
Yes.
But with guide dogs, it is definitely a major problem. And blind people took to the streets yesterday, organised by the National Federation of the Blind. They were at the headquarters of Uber and Lyft in San Francisco. And I want to play a little clip from a news report from ABC7 who covered this story. And this is two people from the National Federation of the Blind. Jessica, who is the president of the National Federation of the Blind in Colorado, followed up by Mark Riccobono. He is the head of and the president of the overall National Federation of the Blind. This is them speaking to ABC7 yesterday, explaining their experiences.
I've been a guide dog user for over a decade, and since Lyft and Uber, I've been denied on multiple occasions, and they've ranged anywhere from causing me to miss very important appointments to being left in extraordinarily inclement weather to actually being in a vehicle trying to protect my rights and being harassed by the police department who didn't understand their responsibility to uphold the law.
We've negotiated, we've talked, we've pleaded, we've pushed, we've pulled, but hundreds of blind people across the nation, actually across the globe, continue to be discriminated against, and these companies refuse to do anything significant about us, so we brought it to the public and to the streets.
So that campaign taking place on White Cane Awareness Day, which seemed a good day to bring this story out. Lots of news coverage from ABC and NBC in the States, which is great because it's getting it out there. It's getting the word out there, which is fantastic. Local news coverage, I should say. We hope these stories get more national attention because it isn't just a local issue. This is arguably an international problem. Now,
it's global, as was said there.
Yeah.
This is absolutely global.
Carry on.
Well, I just think the solution is, you mentioned coverage there. Record. Just every time you order a taxi, no matter what it is, get your phone out and record. Because as a guide dog user, you know that there's a chance that you're going to get a refusal. And the answer isn't in hoping that the mainstream pick it up. The answer is in social media, and that gets picked up. I'm sorry, this is absolutely disgraceful. Yeah. And the fact that that lady there said about even having to argue with the police. Yeah. I mean, how do we make it any clearer? How I don't understand how people don't know that service dogs are allowed anywhere, basically. It blows my mind.
It's getting harder and harder to make the justification because of the coverage. But the coverage is important because what happens is, and will often happen, you find this in stores, you find it in restaurants, where you walk in and someone says in the restaurant, for example, I'm sorry, you can't come in here because you have a guide dog. And what I'm seeing more and more is other people standing up and saying, excuse me, that dog is allowed in here. That's a service animal.
Yes,
it's a guide dog. It absolutely is allowed in here. And, the disconnect is only, it would appear, with people who run businesses and use drive taxis. It's the public are starting to come around to this. But it is important to also recognize the fact this is a legal right. Now, legal rights are different in different parts of the world, but it certainly is law in the States, and it is certainly law in the UK. I can't speak for Canada on this one. I don't know if it's a law in Canada. I would imagine it is, but I don't know. We should definitely find out. If you tell us, if you're living in Canada and you're aware of these rules and laws around all this, then do let us know. I would imagine it probably is a law. But the issue here is indeed global, but it's beyond Uber as well. Now, Uber have said, and Lyft have said as well, in a statement that, and you would expect them to say this, this is not something they endorse. They certainly do not discourage drivers from taking animals. There's been examples, where people have said, well, you have to order an Uber Pet or an Uber Assist vehicle. Again, that's nonsense. It's not the case, because any car, any taxi, any Uber should be able and should be taking guide dogs. Simple as that. So it's not about what service you use. And by the way, a guide dog is not a pet. It's a service animal.
I just don't. I don't even really comprehend having the discussion around, this is allowed, because it's just become part of the fabric of everything. Everybody knows this, surely.
Well, they clearly don't, Shaun. That's the problem. They clearly don't.
But the point is,
because we're having to go out and stand outside of headquarters of companies to shout for those rights.
What is happening with those refusals when they're reported to Uber or Lyft or even the taxi companies? Now, I've seen many a thing where a taxi driver over here in the UK has been taken to court and fined and whatever else. I don't know if that's enough anymore. I mean, you lose your ability to be a cab driver. That's got to be the step.
I think you have to go further than that. I think you have to go to the company and say, look, this company can lose its license.
The company gets,
the company itself loses the license. I mean, I remember with the early days of Uber in London and the UK, I remember there were a lot of issues around the type of drivers who were taking on the jobs. They were not being vetted properly, and there were a lot of incidents. A lot of nasty incidents. And the local government there said, look, you're going to lose your license if you don't get to grips with this, if you don't deal with this. We're not going to give you the license to be a taxi company or a taxi operator in this city. Strangely enough, things changed. Things improved. So I think I think that's honestly the only way to solve this. If we're trying to do it driver to driver, it's never going to work. It's just not going to work.
No,
it's the same issue with advocacy. You can't do it person to person. You're never going to get the end result, because there's always going to be another sighted zombie around the corner who won't have a clue, and you've got to deal with that. Yes, I know sighted zombies are bad.
A little bit harsh.
But it's true. It is true.
Well, you mentioned the vetting process. I mean, the simple case is that, look, allergies exist, okay? If someone has a genuine allergy to dogs or pets or dander or whatever, then they can produce the medical certificate for that, or the letter. And as part of the vetting process, okay, this driver cannot accept pets in there. And and you have that up front, and, and everyone else has to. I mean, it just seems so simple to me. I really, this is still one of those really outrageous examples of discrimination.
Uber and Lyft say they don't support it, and they say that they will work with drivers, and they are also going to produce a new video to apparently that's coming out this month to show drivers what they need to learn. I have no idea if that will work or not, but let's hope something resonates somewhere. But I fear that this is going to take a bigger course of action. And like I say, I think ultimately it comes down to that the responsibility here is on the company to get this sorted out. The individual drivers will do what they do, but they will continue to do what they do if the company lets them do what they do. So the only solution here is to go after the company itself and say, right, look, you will lose your license here if you do not get this under control, if you do not stop this nonsense. But you're absolutely right. People have got to record these incidents. They've got to be aware of it because it is just mounting. There are people who, I remember interviewing a guy here in the UK who had over 200 refusals since he got his guide dog, and we're only talking a few months. I mean, it's ridiculous what is going on.
Talk about, making traveling easier for us, right? I mean, the anxiety. I mean, I'm always anxious about just finding where the taxi's going to stop in front of me anyway and actually locating it and if the driver is going to be helpful or not. But aside from that, now you've got to worry about they're not even going to let you in.
Yeah.
And some of the videos that I've seen of refusals have been pretty aggressive and nasty. So, yeah, anyway.
Big conversation.
Depressing.
Big conversation. But good that NFB are bringing it up.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, excellent work. Excellent work raising the importance of this issue. I want to talk about the iPad because the new iPad mini was announced. Yes, breaking news.
Breaking news.
Totally. I missed this. I don't, what? Does this just appear in the store?
Kind of, yes. There was no major fanfare here. It just dropped. So the iPad Mini 7 is now, or will be out actually on the 23rd of this month. Pre-ordering now, but you can get it in stores from the 23rd of October. So this is the first time in 3 years since that we've seen a new iPad Mini come out. And I've got to say, I think the iPad Mini is the iPad for the rest of us, if I'm totally honest. I mean, the iPad Pro is lovely, but of course its focus is on visuals with its OLED screen and the pen and all that stuff.
Apparently amazing screen.
Oh, I mean, yeah, incredible. Yeah. But if you can't see it, it's an awful lot of money to spend.
Who cares?
But the problem has been, for a lot of us, that buying something like the iPad Mini or the iPad Air means you're kind of sacrificing the power. You know, you're not getting the M2 processor inside an iPad Mini. You're not getting an M3 or an M4 inside that. But what you are getting, interestingly, on this particular new model is the A17 Pro chip. Now, what is significant about that and what is it compared to? Well, this was the interesting bit for me. Previous generation of the iPad Mini, last generation that came out, had the A15 built in. And that was the processor that was inside the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 13 Pro.
Okay.
But this new one, the A17 Pro, that is the processor that was in the iPhone 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max.
Oh,
that's nice. A fast processor, obviously, right? That's a decent processor. And the other benefit you have, without going into all the specs and details that, I mean, you can obviously go and check and get the detail from, but I'm only interested in the top level here, which is, you know, what impact will this have on battery? What impact will it have on performance? One of the benefits of the iPad is that it's a larger device, so you've got more room for air to escape. So therefore, it is not going to grab and hold on to heat as easily. So it can power itself a little bit more. It can do a little bit more. So I think with the A17 Pro chip inside this, you're actually talking about a nice little iPad that is going to be perfectly powerful for a lot of things you might want to do. And the kind of things we do with an iPad, or we would do with an iPad, I think it's going to be this is actually a really nice option. And it does say it will work with Apple Intelligence, as you would expect it to.
Of course.
I think they must be getting sick of... I saw it was John Gurman mentioning this yesterday, that, you know, they must be getting sick of saying things are built for Apple Intelligence, but there's still no Apple Intelligence out there. There's nothing to play with.
Yes.
So that's another slight problem at the moment. But, you know, it is coming. And it will, of course, be there within days. I think it's October 26th we see the Apple Intelligence features start to roll out in the US. And, of course, if you want to use it, you can set your device to US English and get access to that. Later in the year for Canada and the UK, in particular December, you'll get the update in those territories. But this is an interesting one. It's the same size, same design, same style. Nothing's changed. Slightly improved front camera. The camera is in the middle of the top part of the screen in portrait mode. They haven't done it in landscape mode like they did with the other iPads. I think that makes sense on this device.
Actually, yeah, considering the size of it.
Yeah.
Having it the camera landscape mode on the Pro makes more sense. But on this one, I think, after thinking about it for a millisecond, you're right. Yeah, that's probably right.
Don't think it makes sense to put it on the other, because I don't know how many people would use it in that way. And
in landscape,
I don't even know if you can get a keyboard for the iPad Mini. You probably can.
And what size is it?
No, like you're hitting me with that one, and I want to say I know the answer. I don't have it to hand, but I want to say 9.7 inch, but I think that might be slightly larger than it is.
Right.
But that could be wrong. But we're talking here a much smaller iPad. And the iPad Air is a lovely machine and all the rest of it. But I think if you're blind and you want an iPad, this is the one. And the other benefit of this one is that your starting storage is now 128 gig, where before it was 64. That just wasn't enough. So 64 was terrible. 128.
I'm not convinced by 128, to be honest with you.
No, it goes up in increments to 256 and to 512. So you've got two options, and you can get Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi and cellular. And
lovely.
In terms of pricing, in Canada, you're looking at starting price around 679 Canadian dollars, and that is for the 128 gig version, Wi-Fi only. And that goes all the way up to about just over $1,300 for the 512 gig with the Wi-Fi and cellular model. They apparently also have eSIMs in them as well, or eSIM capability, so you don't have to have a SIM card. You can apply a service to your iPad Mini if you wanted to. And on Wi-Fi, you get Wi-Fi 6E, not Wi-Fi 7, as some people might have wanted, but you get Wi-Fi 6E. I love people who complain about these things. I wanted Wi-Fi 7. Oh, really? Does it make any difference at all? No.
Wi-Fi 6 extended.
Yeah. Do you know
is
what?
That just 7 by another name?
Yeah, who knows? Know. But honestly, people who complain about these things, it's like, get over yourselves. I know they're thinking, well, look, if I buy this today and I have it for a few years, it's going to be out of date. But honestly, I use computers. I remember opening up my 2011, I think it was, MacBook Air, the 11-inch one I've got. I couldn't tell the difference in speed downloads on Wi-Fi versus, the very latest. Does it really matter? I mean, if you're playing online games, I think maybe it's different. But, I think for most people, you would barely notice.
I was using 801, what was it, G or B for the longest time. And AC felt like I was missing out. But once you move over, it's more about the amount of traffic and, not getting interference and the range of it rather than anything else. And for a lot of the time, you won't really notice anyway. But I think you're absolutely right. I would love this. I would love this as the coffee table family device, right? But the thing that we're still missing is multiple user. The ability to, who's using this device as a lock screen. That would make such a difference. I would buy an iPad tomorrow for all of the family to use. But yeah, I don't know. I do like the Mini. I do like the form factor, I've got to say.
It's the only one that gets me excited. I mean, of all the iPads, that's the one I really do like. And I was so glad to see it get an update. No fanfare, of course. Now, that leads me to think that they're getting that announcement out of the way in preparation for another event. Because there's lots of talk about a MacBook event or a Mac event coming up before the end of the month. I think that's probably true. I think it's probably time they get a lot of the existing systems upgraded to a processor that at least is going to fully support Apple Intelligence. I don't know, for example, I have a Mac Mini at the moment, which is an M2 Pro chip in it. I don't know how capable that is for Apple Intelligence. It may be fine. I don't know.
I would hope so.
But they seem everything seems to be from the M3 onwards. If you look at if you go to every page of the Apple website, they're kind of moving everything up. It's like M3, M4, anything below that is kind of just being ignored and moved off. So, and even with the iPhones, they've moved away on the Pros to it's the iPhone 16 Pro Max, and that's it. So
yeah, but we know the 15 is supported.
We know the 15 Pros
15
and
Pro
Max, Pro and Pro Max, whereas all the 16 lineup. I guess from a marketing point of view, it makes more sense to, as we said before, focus on 16 onwards. But it seems that the Macs are going to be upgraded for sure. And whether or not that's going to be a press release drop or whether it's going to be an event, I don't know. The only thing that makes me think it's likely to be an event is because there's talk of them redesigning this Mac Mini. And that may not be enough for an event. I don't know. They never really get too excited about the Mac Minis.
Redesign and an iMac with M4.
Well, that could be a press release, couldn't it? I mean, let's be honest. What's supposed to tell? It's the same design. Unless they're going to bring out something new, it's highly unlikely they're going to bring
Yeah,
a whole event over an iMac getting an M4.
Would you go out? Would you rush out and buy? You've got what's the latest Apple Silicon you've got? M3,
So I've got an M2 Pro
M2
in
Pro.
the Mac Mini.
Would you rush out
if they had an M4
M4
Pro Mac Mini? I'd be tempted by that. Yeah, especially with the video work I'm doing.
You're such a sheep.
Well, if it depends on look, for me, it's video and render times. That's what I always look at, right? I used to not care about this stuff, but now I'm looking at how long does it take to render out a movie file? And if that can be reduced by, I mean, here's my measurement. If it reduces what I'm doing by 15 minutes a day, I think that's worth it.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Because that is an important part of the workflow, right? And if you can half the time it takes, yeah, it's worth it. Yeah, you can justify that cost. I don't know. I heard a rumor, I can't remember where I read this now, that Apple were considering breaking out of the annual release cycle for the iPhone. I don't know if this is just wishful thinking. Because for the longest time, we've been saying, what's the benefit in releasing a smartphone every year?
Well, look, we'll come back to all that because, of course, we're very excited about the potential of an event. And whenever it comes up and when it does, we will absolutely talk about it. But up next, you are going to be finding out all about a fantastic breaking news story from Be My Eyes and Hilton.
Call the Double Tappers now, 1-877-803-4567, or email us, feedback@doubletaponair.com.
So it seems like we can't go more than a few episodes of Double Tap without another Be My Eyes announcement. And today is no different, of course. We've got another one. So joining us today is Mike Buckley, CEO of Be My Eyes. Hey, Mike, you're back again.
Shaun, I mean, you're going to have to start charging me rent.
I know. We're going to have to get you your own Double Tap microphone at this rate. I mean, do you ever stop?
I hope not.
So do I. So, okay, another announcement, another partnership. So, you know what? I'm just going to throw it out to you. What's happening now?
In an industry first, Hilton and Be My Eyes have launched a broad-based partnership to make the entirety of the hotel experience for the blind and low vision community more accessible. Shaun, I cannot stress enough how excited I am about this, how proud I am of Hilton and thankful to them. I'm going to say this about 5 times, so please bear with me. Please book your next stay at Hilton or any one of the Hilton brands, which I'm going to list later. They deserve your dollars. They deserve your respect. You and I both know, Shaun, that a pain point for the blind and low vision community is travel.
Yes.
And in particular, hotels, whether it's booking, in room, on property, you name it, they're just a bunch of things that are hard, right? And this partnership aims to make that less hard and hopefully make it easier. And so the consumer can not only use the wonderful AI that we have, but literally can connect with a dedicated Hilton representative who's got answers about whether it's the property or the stay or the booking process. Like, this is a giant leap forward for accessibility. And I want to thank Nicole, who's here with us from Hilton. And I want to thank the entire team at Hilton. I hope this sets an industry standard. I think it will. And I really just couldn't be more excited and thankful right now.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, Nicole is with us today. Nicole Bergstrom. What is your title there, your position over at the Hilton Hotels?
Yes, good morning, Shaun. So I actually lead Hilton's Accessibility Center of Excellence. I'm a senior director of accessibility. And Mike is actually singing the words that I talk about daily, 24/7 at Hilton, and it's around independence of travel for our guests who identify as having a disability. And the blind and low vision community, have particular needs that aren't met by accessible rooms. So what exactly do? I do a lot at Hilton in the space of accessibility. I oversee with a team of people who have lived experiences with disabilities, ensuring that all of the technology that Hilton is building and putting into the marketplace is accessible. So that includes things like the dreaming, shopping, and booking for a hotel room. But as Mike was alluding to, Hilton's commitment for a reliable and friendly experience for all, every stay, every hotel, every time, includes accessible travel. And a large part of the work that I'm doing in this partnership with Be My Eyes is a true game changer for the hospitality industry in this area of accessible travel. Hilton, as an employer, I do a lot of work with our DE&I team, with our internal team. It's called an employee resource group, abilities, and really looking at making Hilton an employer brand of choice for not only the guest, but an employer of choice for employees. I'm redundant, but so
Yeah.
I kind of am all over the place at Hilton, but it really is in the world of accessibility and demonstrating Hilton's commitment to the disability population.
That sounds amazing. I'm just really happy that there's an actual accessibility team.
Yes, and we've been around for since 2016. So
Wow.
I've been building it, but I've been able to do so because of the commitment and the support that comes from our CEO, all the way from the top down.
Shaun, I want to stress that Chris Nassetta, the CEO of Hilton, he's a leader in many, many ways, but he was personally involved in making this happen. And I want to thank him. And look, Nicole's talked about these issues for a decade, right? And she's really good at talking about not just the fact that these are the right things to do, but like you have to build business cases and show ROI and these types of things. And so she's really thoughtful there. But Chris Nassetta, I publicly thank you for your commitment to this, and I will be staying at Hilton's for the rest of my life. So,
Well, so will I if the accessibility is that good. And this is a great step towards that. So let's actually go to staying at a hotel. What can the customer expect from this partnership?
So, as Mike mentioned, we actually, throughout this partnership, I consider it twofold. So back in 2023, what we really started with was helping Be My Eyes train their AI technology in hotels. So going into the physical property and working with the AI through the lobbies, to the elevators, through the business centers, up into the room. So what somebody can expect when they download the Be My Eyes app and they open up the Be My Eyes app, they can go in and they can find hotels under the service directory. And when they go into hotels through this exclusive agreement, they will find Hilton's brands. So if you're in a stay or not, or you're getting ready to go to a stay, you have two options. So I'll go back. You're in a stay. You can use the Be My AI functionality and in your room to locate things like a thermostat, the TV remote, being able to distinguish between your shampoo and your conditioner. So there's that piece of it. And again, very independent, very on a person's own terms and when they need or want to have that capability. And then the second piece, which is again very exciting and speaks to Hilton's hospitality, is being able to then use the Be My Eyes technology, which enables one-way video, two-way audio, and connects directly in to our customer care agents who have been specifically trained by Be My Eyes in how to support guests with who are blind or low vision. Anything else, Mike, you want to add?
you said it well. I mean, Shaun, you and I have talked about this a bunch about just pain points of travel, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, think about your own personal experiences and how this could, you know, hopefully dramatically alter that for the better. And the thing that I want to underscore that Nicole pointed out is it's got to be about the consumer's choice, right? Maybe you don't want to talk to a human, maybe you just want a quick AI result. But you know what? Maybe you want assurances on the how to get to the pool, right? Or whatever the thing is that a Hilton agent is going to be able to provide. Providing that consumer choice, right? And that power, right? Providing that power to the blind and low vision consumer is what has me so incredibly excited.
This is only currently rolling out in Canada and America. Is that right?
Yeah,
That's
Canada
correct,
and the
Shaun.
US.
Yeah. I mean, we want to learn. You know the Be My Eyes mantra, right? Like we try not to overpromise, and we have to prove to Hilton, right? And Hilton needs to prove to us that we can provide a great experience. I think we'd love to expand, but we're going to make no promises yet, right? Like we got to make sure that this is humming and working properly and really serving the community well. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm not going to say more than that because I'll get in trouble with Nicole and the people at Hilton. But put it this way: our best people are committed to making this work, and I hope it goes global, but we can't make any promises yet. But I'm excited.
Yes, we this is a journey for us for Hilton, and we want to learn and we want to make sure that we're actually meeting the needs of the guests with whom we're serving. And so as we go through this journey, we're on this journey with Be My Eyes, and Mike and I have nothing but excitement and sending, you know, positivity around where this could go.
Yeah, Shaun, the other thing I want you and the community of people who are blind and low vision to know is, you know, Hilton's made this a multi-year partnership. They're not messing around. This is not like, hey, let's get a PR win and then next year we're gone, right?
Yeah.
This is a multi-year journey that we're on together. And to me, that showcases their commitment here and the fact that, you know, they're the real deal on this partnership.
Can I ask Nicole about the training of the agents, you know, on your side that we'll be talking to through Be My Eyes?
Yes, yes.
Are they sort of on location at the actual hotel you're staying at yourself, or are these somewhere else off location?
Sure, great question. So these are our Hilton reservation and customer care agents that are dispersed. These agents are within the U.S. and they're available 7 days a week, 7 to 11 p.m. Central Time. As far as getting somebody directly at that hotel, what I can tell the community is that if you are using the Hilton Honors app, we have in-app messaging where you can actually be in your stay, be on the property, and utilize messaging technology in order to connect directly with the hotel staff. So the Be My Eyes agents that you will get if you go through the Hilton agents you'll get if you go through the Be My Eyes app. They've been trained, thanks to Be My Eyes, in disability etiquette, ableist language. They've been trained to, you know, not be shocked if they hear screen reader technology in the background. So they've really been trained in this world around, you know, the needs of the blind and low vision community, as well as understanding our brands and our, you know, our entire property estate.
Here's the thing about Hilton is that they have all sorts of cool brands that serve different needs and different consumer bases, right? So you have like Hampton by Hilton and Homewood Suites and Extended Stay. And so there are all these brands under the Hilton umbrella that may fit you and your family's needs or you and your family's budget, right? Like, I don't know, Shaun, you know, you guys are like the biggest blind podcasters in the world. You're probably staying at Waldorf Astoria's.
Of course,
you know,
yes. Well
not
done.
me. But which, by the way, is also a Hilton brand, and there's another beautiful brand called Conrad that the hotels are amazing. But I tend to be like an Embassy Suites guy or a Hilton Garden Inn guy, because I'm traveling on a budget. And so what I like about this is there are all these different brands under the Hilton umbrella that are at different price points and different needs for the consumer's family. So it's not just the big H of Hilton. It's all of their, it's a bunch of their hotel brands.
And Be My Eyes is there to cover all of those brands across the board, right?
Exactly.
So cool. So cool. Nicole, while I've got you here, can I ask you, we in the blind and visually impaired community, obviously been talking to Mike for years, and we know about Be My Eyes and we use it all the time. But when it comes to accessibility and the Hilton, are you looking at any other technology? What sort of technology are you using to make, let's say, for example, I mentioned the hotel rooms before and the problems I've had with TVs. I've had, trying to ring room service on the telephone system, which just seemed totally inaccessible to me in the past. Are you using any technology to add accessibility in room as well?
So we, as I mentioned, we're on a journey, and I hope it's a journey that just continues because it's not one that I want to get off of. But yeah, we are continually looking at how we can make the stay better for all through some of our connected room technology. I'm happy to report that we've got screen reader capability that has been rolled out in those properties that do have our connected room technology. And we're doing a lot within our app. Technology today can really be used to connect the physical world. And so we've got a lot of features in our app that are referred to as digital self-service tools. And what that means is that you can actually digitally check in to your room. You can choose your actual room and go straight to room and utilize digital key. So you can bypass the front desk, which is really huge, again, for independence of any guest traveler. And with the involvement of my team, all of those features are actually fully accessible and usable by screen reader technology and other assistive technology as well.
Yeah, of course. And with this partnership with Be My Eyes, you're going to get so much feedback as well. I'm sure that would help, both of you in the long run, right?
Oh, love it. Love it. I welcome it. It is, again, I hope the community is feeling the commitment and the passion that is coming out of Hilton to really, really elevate the stay experience. And we welcome the feedback, and really, we are doing things as well to be informed by what the community is after, what their needs are, what would make a friendly and reliable stay. We actually do have research with people with disabilities. It's not testing, it's actual research to help inform the what we are building.
We're never going to claim perfection, right? This is progress, and it's a journey, and it's continuous learning and improvement. But the things that you talked about, whether it's the phone or finding the outlet,
Yes.
right, in the room, which is a pain. These are things that this partnership should make dramatically better. And by the way, we're going to figure out the places where we still have work to do, right? And I'm as excited about that feedback as like the hugs and the kudos that come, right? Because that's how you get better.
Yeah.
But like this, I look, I don't want to overstate it, but like, this is a big deal. This is a global brand saying we are going in big for the blind and low vision community. And I'm going to ask again that you have a lot of listeners, Shaun. I'm going to ask you to like spend your dollars at the brands who you think are doing the right thing. And I put Hilton now at the top of that list.
Okay, thank you so much, Mike. Another fantastic announcement from Be My Eyes. Thank you. And Nicole, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thanks, Nicole. Thanks, Shaun. Appreciate the work you do as always.
Great conversation there with Mike Buckley, of course, CEO of Be My Eyes, and Nicole Bergstom, the Senior Director of Accessibility there at Hilton. A really interesting conversation you had with them, Shaun. And, I think, I was listening to that interview thinking, the immediate retort or the immediate thing I think when I come off that interview is, well, of course, other hotels are available. And I want to say that because I think, well, we've got to be careful that we don't sound like we're just pushing one hotel brand here. We're not. I mean, obviously, this is what Be My Eyes are doing. But then I think to myself, there will be people who'll get in touch with us and say, oh, I had a great experience at a Marriott hotel or a different type of hotel.
Yeah.
And that's great. But I feel that's often more by accident, those experiences. Whereas what I'm hearing from Hilton seems to be more deliberate, that they want every experience to be an accessible one, a good experience. And I think that's perhaps the difference here. Accessibility by accident happens a lot.
Yes.
And that's great. But when the companies turn around and say, right, we're actually going to do this and we're going to focus in seriously on it, and it sounds like they are, you know what, it's hard to argue with that.
Absolutely. And look, Mike absolutely owned it right at the beginning there. I'm going to keep saying this. Everyone should, stay at the Hilton. And the point is exactly that. It's the commitment. I mean, how often are we saying, we want more accessibility, we want this, we want that. And for a company to, Mike also mentioned ROI, return on their investment. I mean, they want to see some return on this. They want to see that there is a need, there is a want, and not just us, saying it should happen, but there is a reason for it. We are a demographic. We are a market out there that will, respond to this. And it's all about commitment for me. And you got to say kudos to the Hilton for taking this step, a multi-year deal with Be My Eyes. It's all good.
I mean, I love when they were talking about the training and saying, for example, and one thing that just really stuck out was when Nicole said, they're trained, or the agents are trained on, not being surprised by hearing a screen reader in the background. That's attention to detail that I like, because those are the kind of things that do freak people out. When you're on a call, every time I'm on a call with someone and my screen reader talks, it's like an alien from another planet has just landed in the room, and suddenly everyone's distracted by the alien.
Throws them off.
Exactly. And it's like you are trying to just get whatever it is, get the information, and it's like, oh, what's that noise? What's that? Just get on with it. Ignore all that. We can just talk over it. We're used to it. But the fact that they're training agents to think that way, actually really smart. So, I mean, that's one aspect of it. There's lots of them. There's another side to this story as well, which we didn't get a chance to get into with Mike, but we will get into this with him, I'm sure. Because, look, we're going to get Mike back on regularly to talk about all these things.
We have no choice. Well, they don't stop.
Absolutely. Why would we not want to hear? And I will say we're going to be talking to Mike again in the very near future. In fact, in just a couple of days, about another big announcement that's coming down. I mean, they are doing so much work in the community. Be My Eyes are amazing in this space. But there's another side to this, which is that these partnerships that we're hearing about with Be My Eyes, it's two-way. So yes, on one hand, it's about, companies bringing themselves to the table to say, we want to commit ourselves to be more accessible to the disability community. Excellent. Love that. But for Be My Eyes, and Mike said this to us off air yesterday, but he very much was on the record when he said it. He is about saving Be My Eyes from being a company that has to go out there and ask its community for money. AI costs a lot of money to run. And Be My AI costs a huge amount of money. And it's going to cost even more money as time goes on and the demands on AI grow larger and the more of us who use it. That's going to be paid for. Now, do we want to pay for it? Or do we want Be My Eyes to say, okay, do you know what? We're going to work with partners who are going to pay us money. We're going to help those partners make their products more accessible to you. At the same time, they're paying so that you can access Be My Eyes. I think I like that approach.
Oh, yeah. Who's not going to like that approach? I mean, everyone wins in that case, right?
Yeah.
But it's difficult to do. To get those big companies on board isn't easy, as a lot of companies have found out in our community. It's difficult to do that. So when a company as big as the Hilton come on, you got, as I say, you got to applaud them for it, and it's a good thing for everyone.
You're right. This is something which has been hard to achieve.
Yeah,
but I think Be My Eyes have done it because it's just a great story. and look, let's be honest about it. Companies especially love great stories as part of their marketing. And Be My Eyes is just a great story. So,
It is.
you're aligning yourself with the best of humanity. Let's be honest about it. People helping other people. Simple as that. Yes, there's AI involvement. And, I remember thinking, as I'm sure you did as well, when I first heard about Be My AI, I thought that was it. The Be My Eyes component, the volunteer component, was dead.
Yeah.
But actually, no. And they've gone further than that. They've even said, okay, look, yes, we have volunteers. Yes, we have AI. But let's actually train agents so that you can connect directly to those agents in companies. And they know their stuff. They know about the technology that's in the room, or the TV or the coffee machine or whatever it is. Do you know what? I cannot want to come up with some really, challenging debate on this, but I'm really struggling because it's just all for the good.
Yeah, it's a good news story.
Exactly.
And why would you want to look for another angle on it? Yeah, I think this is a win for everyone.
Listen, we're out of time for today, and we haven't even touched Android 15. Android 15's out. That came out yesterday as well. So honestly, we have got so much we can talk about. I think we're going to do okay here on this daily show. And I don't know. I think I'll be all right.
We'll manage.
Yeah, I think I'll be fine. Listen, that is it for today. 613-481-0144. That is the number you need to remember, because that's the WhatsApp number. I'm going to be listening out for ding, 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 ding all night long. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.